Welcome back to Important Library Stuff, a podcast where library staff share the inside scoop on all the stuff that happens at Prince William Public Libraries. And trust us, it's a lot of stuff. I'm your host, Emily Bickers, media specialist from the Office of Communications and Marketing, and I am joined by guests who know a lot more on each episode's topic than I do, which for this episode is about our Teen Summer Reading Volunteer Program. We know it seems a little early to start talking about summer reading, but we'll be accepting new applications for summer reading volunteers beginning April 22nd. Later on in the episode, I will be joined by Rosanne Northjack from Manassas City Library and Kat Seastead from Bull Run Library. However, I am first joined by Hamere and Savannah, members of Central Library's TAG, Teen Advisory Group, who are frequent library volunteers. If Hamere's voice sounds familiar, she was also a guest on our Howl's Moving YA Book Boxes episode from last December, which I recommend checking out if you haven't already. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
What are your current favorite 3 books?
Okay, so, as you probably know, I've been reading a lot, and I have one more book that makes it to my top 3, and it's called #Murder Trending. It was like a book that, you thought you knew what was going on, but you didn't, you know?
It's a mystery?
Yeah, kind of. And, it's about like that. And the others are about the same as last time. I have Gilded and 6 of Crows.
Nice.
I'm really big into dystopian books and fiction and stuff like that. So my first favorite book would have to be The Giver. My second would have to be Animal Farm. And my third would be Frankenstein.
All classics.
Yeah. I
Really
love
good.
the classics.
So are you excited to sign up for the summer reading program yourself?
Yeah, I've participated for a long time, so now I really want to see what it's like as a volunteer.
What's your favorite part of summer reading?
Reading. It's just I like to read books, and during the summer I have more time to read books, so that's just the big part of it.
I actually am not that big of a fan of reading, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. So volunteering actually really got me more into reading and made me a better reader because I had to read more. So that really helped me.
Have you volunteered for summer reading before?
No, I haven't. This would be my first time.
Yeah, a couple times.
So Savannah, what's different about being a summer reading volunteer from being a regular library volunteer? What does summer reading volunteering entail?
So summer reading volunteering is a little different because, for one, it's for the summer reading program. It's only during the summer. So if you have too much school during the school year, it's a lot easier to get your volunteering hours in then. If you're a little nervous about volunteering, it's a good way to ease into it because you know what you have to say, know what you have to do. It's more easy to follow a script, all of that, so you know what you're doing. Yeah.
So you follow a script, so you're helping sign kids up?
Yeah, so you sign people up. Basically, you get their information, email, stuff like that, and you just sign them up. It teaches you how to learn, it gets all the ropes in for the library, all of that. So if you don't want to, jump straight into the deep end, it's a nice place to start. Towards the beginning of the summer, it's more of signing people up. Towards the end, you get a few people who sign up, and then more giving out prizes to kids.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Hamere, what made you want to apply to be a first-time summer reading volunteer this year?
I've participated a lot, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I see what it's like being a volunteer, being on the other side instead of being the consumer, being that producer, So I wanted to see what both sides are like.
Yeah, that's great. What are you most looking forward to for this year's program if you're accepted as a volunteer?
Helping people out in the library and just doing stuff other than sitting at home,
Yeah, and you get to meet other teens too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really big into giving back to the community. That's a big part of stuff we do in my family. So just doing that and also seeing all the little kids happy because, that's the main group we get is, really little kids, and they get so happy when they get stuff. I am old enough to work, so I do have a job as well during the summer. So it's a nice break, but I still feel useful,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why do you think teens should give volunteering at the library a chance?
Again, I'm big on giving back to the community, and it's a great way to, as I said earlier, get into reading if you don't like it. And even if there's nothing there for you that you would like, it looks great on a resume. So really, it's just great all around because it gives you life experience. If you don't have, if you're not old enough to have a job yet, it's a great place to start with volunteering.
Well, I volunteer because, one, I need the hours. And two, it really helps me, get out, talk to other people. And sooner or later, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to, do something, and it's better to be prepared for it. And volunteering is a big step toward that.
Absolutely. We've heard from other teen volunteers in the past that talking to the public really helped their communication skills. What tips might you have for other teens that are not super comfortable talking to the public but are still interested in volunteering?
First thing, that's me. I was exactly like that. I would never voluntarily volunteer. That's really weird. But I would never volunteer because I want to. But now I do because I've seen that it's really helpful, and it does help you talk to other people more easily because you meet new people, you figure out their likes and dislikes, and then you figure out how to get closer to people. And if you never volunteer, never speak to the public like that, you never get that kind of opportunity.
I was really scared of talking to non-English speakers at first because I do know 2 languages. I know English, obviously, and I know German. But I do not know Spanish, which is...
It's a common one.
Yeah, it's a very common one. But I really got past that because, again, it's a set of questions that you already know what you have to ask. So I used Google Translate, and I asked my neighbors who do know how to speak Spanish, and I actually, translated it, and I learned how to say those few things.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so... it's just about doing those few things to get over that fear of speaking. And yeah, especially for the summer reading program, I would say it's a good place to start there if you're scared to talk.
That's great. So thank you so much for being a volunteer. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you have any words of encouragement for fellow young adults who are thinking about applying to volunteer?
I would say that I would just do it. Even if you're scared, it's really not that hard. It's just at most an hour a week, really, because there's so many of people there. It's just a few hours a week. Don't be scared to do it. If you don't like talking, there's always going to be a place for you. Whether it's putting books out on display, stuff like that. Just don't be scared and go for it.
I just think if you're thinking about applying, just go for it, try it out. And if you don't like it, you don't have to apply again. But it's better to figure it out whether you like it or not first, instead of it might have been something you liked and you missed out on the opportunity.
Well said. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
All right, I am now with Rosanne Northjack from Manassas City Library and Kat Seastead from Bull Run Library. They run the Teen Summer Reading volunteer programs at their respective branches. Also, both of them are repeat guests as well. Thanks so much for coming back.
Of course, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Since you've given me your top books in previous episodes, what are 3 books you'd recommend to teens this summer?
I'm going to recommend The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco.
I've heard that's really good.
I loved it. It's a trilogy, but The Bone Witch is the first one. I absolutely loved it. Second one, Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe.
So amazing.
Right?
Yes.
It's good. I love that book.
The second one is good too.
Yes. The first one made me cry, really. Really a lot. Not because it's sad, but because the writing is so beautiful that it made me emotional. And then Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller.
Tell me more.
It's the Achilles Patroclus retelling.
Okay. Oh, my turn. Well, of course, I have to recommend a horror novel to complement our Summer Scares program happening in July. And that kind of promotes horror as a great reading option for all ages, anytime. But the one I want to recommend for teens is The Weight of Blood by Tiffany Jackson. It's basically a modern remake of Carrie by Stephen King. The second one I've read a lot of graphic novels lately, but I found one called Scout is Not a Band Kid by Jade Armstrong. I really, really loved it. And it's very funny. If you've ever been in band, if you've ever done something idiotic and crazy for a fandom that I have also done, then you will really love it. And then the third one is The Sisters of Salt series by Aaron Craig. I loved House of Salt and Sorrow, which is basically the 12 Dancing Princesses retold, and they all have names from poems by Edgar Allan Poe. And it's kind of figuring out who's named after what.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how important are our teen volunteers during summer reading?
I'm going to be totally biased and say 10 out of 10. They are absolutely essential to keep our programs running smoothly and efficiently. I haven't ever done summer reading without volunteers, nor would I want to. I think they're essential to keeping the program going every year. And I have more on that, but I want to hear what Kat thinks.
So I'm going to do the cop-out answer and say 11. Mostly because specifically I've seen how intensely important these teens are to just the basic functions of the branch during the summer. Mm-hmm. A lot of the times when the summer reading requirements are less, we use them more like pages, and they have so much fun paging. Mm-hmm. They love it. They absolutely love it.
They love responsibility.
Yes. Well, and we have the stools with the wheels on them that they can
of course.
Scoot around the library and shelf books. So
I love that.
They're like fighting to page.
So on that note, what do teen summer reading volunteers do?
A lot of it depends on the branch.
Right. Yes, it does.
They're applying to. Generally, they are registering people for summer reading, redeeming prizes, logging activities, things like that. Mostly you're there to sit at a table and talk to strangers and be like a good customer service representative of the library system.
Yeah, exactly.
But they also do spend a good chunk of time helping us out with programs. Usually, if they're helping me with programs, they're here with a clicker to mark attendance and with one of the branch iPads to take photos. And then there's stuff like paging, where it's mostly like they're helping us kind of keep the library tidy. They're picking up stray puzzle pieces and books in the children's area. They're helping us refill displays, putting books on the shelves. And I do not let them page unless I have them approved by a circ supervisor.
Yes. We would do a lot of similar things that Kat has mentioned. We trained our volunteers to back shelve.
The junior pages.
Where they would help put carts in order. And that was a very basic skill that a lot of them could help with, especially when it got a little slower towards the middle of the summer. They would help me with craft prep, doing take and makes, and they would help me run programs. Like they would come in and also click, like you said, and take pictures. And if I remember one summer we did live Candyland. Oh. Yeah. It was like a traveling box of supplies, and I had them all sign up to do things that they were interested in. So I even had a volunteer like dress up as the different stations, and one girl was like, okay, I have all the costume stuff for this at home. I'm going to come in and I'm going to wear it. And they would sit there and like collect things from the kids. And so I kind of let them be the lead on what they were interested in. I also did not force kids to read, but we created a Reading Buddies program where kids would sign up to read to teen volunteers. But that was one where I was like, I never made anyone sign up. It's like, if you're interested and you want to read to kids, and a lot of them had younger siblings or younger cousins, and they're like, we got this. So it really depends on the volunteer. Teens also are great guerrilla marketers without even knowing it. I watched Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I have to complain because Winston Zeddemore had a line, and he said, do you know how hard it is to get kids to come to the library? And I'm so mad. But having teens in the library literally shows the public that teens are in the library. Yeah. They can see, these teens are here for summer reading. They're here to help. And that goes a long way to promoting it as a safe space for teens. They can also offer reading recommendations if they want. Like, I would have people come up to me and ask me for reading recommendations. And if I didn't know, and if I knew the teen was into reading that, I would turn to them and say like, hey, do you have any recommendations? And a lot of them really loved talking about what they liked to read. And I wouldn't put a kid on the spot that I didn't already know or had talked to, but they're also just great at offering their opinions and advice on library-related things.
Personally, I use summer reading volunteers to kind of help me stay relevant with teen programming.
Yes.
Like I will often like workshop my fall programs by being like, hey guys, would you come to this? Mm-hmm. I've also found a lot of some hopeful future library employees.
Yes.
Like there's so many that come in and they love it and they want to do more and they end up volunteering with me during the year and I write them college recommendation letters.
Yep.
I've been job references.
Yep. I also kind of do the same thing. And I don't call it cheating, but it's like a lot of my teens would get really, kind of bored at the desk and I would give them notebooks and I would let them just color like crazy and doodle. And there were meme wars in these notebooks and there was all the teen lingo that I would learn and I would kind of pick up their interest. And it was just kind of a way for them to slowly get to know each other because sometimes teens are hesitant to talk to strangers and you're sitting next to this person for 3 hours and it's pretty much like you're setting up a Breakfast Club moment where you're like, well, we're forced to be here together. I guess we're best friends now.
Yep.
So I would also kind of tap into that and see what they were interested in without outwardly asking them. And so it's just a very sly way to get to know them and just kind of see their hidden talents in a way is by giving them that outlet.
What are the main benefits of volunteering?
So other than, of course, getting your volunteer hours for college applications or honor society, junior honor society, key club, anything like that, my teens generally do like make some really good, important friendships during the summer reading volunteering. During the school year, like they'll come in and work on projects together. They'll come and meet up here to go somewhere else, which is fun. But I love watching them. I think we've even had like a tutor situation come out of it where like someone sat down with another teen they did not know and they just kind of got to talking and then they were like, oh, hey, I didn't realize you were in my school. Could you tutor me? Like,
That's so
really need
awesome.
help with like algebra or whatever it was. And they came to a little arrangement and it was really cool. It's just really nice to see, like I've actually seen some of the teen volunteers hanging out outside of the library. Like I've gone to places in Haymarket and I'll be like, aren't those are my teens.
That's so cool.
They're hanging out. That's so cool. I love it.
Well, I put learning a new skill for sure, and customer service skills is big. Anytime you interact with a patron at any point in the library, you are learning a customer service skill. And I tell them, like, this looks great on your resume if you're applying for an internship, if you're applying for a job, like anything you want to pursue outside of secondary education, like put that you have customer service skills because that is an essential skill that will be applicable in almost any field.
I also cannot help but mention the unspoken hero of volunteer benefits, which is you are inside with air conditioning.
Oh,
and a bathroom.
All summer long.
All summer.
Oh,
just like a couple hours of guaranteed sitting in a quiet place in some air conditioning with a water fountain nearby and a clean bathroom.
oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
It is the unsung hero. We have a lot of programs as well that as a teen volunteer, you kind of get first crack at attending, especially if you want to sign up to take attendance or help out at a program. Like one of the big ones at Haymarket is Pokemon Club. So that is always, and the Reading to Dogs program.
Yeah.
Those two programs are the fought over volunteer slot.
Who wants to help with them? Yeah.
Because if you help out with Reading to Dogs, I let you go in and like sit with the dogs and pet with the dogs if there's no child on the schedule. Or you can just hang out with them before it starts or afterwards. And then Pokemon Club, all of my delightful, lovely fellow nerds will be so happy, that a teen has come in to help, but that B, they know things.
Yes.
The children will get so excited. They get so excited if there's an older teen that knows like who Torkoal is or something like that. Like they get so excited. And because like it's one thing to have the one librarian on staff who runs the program to know.
Yeah.
it's a whole other thing for there to be like teenagers that are in the room and know what these little 6-year-olds are talking about and can chat with them and like talk about their cards and play Pokemon Go with them and trade and battle. And it's really, really nice to see.
I see that a lot too when the volunteers are helping the kids with the summer reading and explaining it to the kids. Adults sometimes make them nervous, or you get these smooth talking teens that can just charm the socks off of anybody. And
those make me laugh so hard.
Yeah, with the younger kids, they love it. Yeah. They love it.
Yeah.
What are the library's expectations for teen volunteers?
So the teen volunteers are representing the library essentially. So we expect them to be able to talk to strangers, to be able to use our technology, basically dress how you would for school. We just want you to look semi-professional.
We want them to kind of know what they're getting into beforehand. So that's why we say you have to attend a training. If you don't attend a training, you can't volunteer. It's a requirement.
Also, please don't sign up for summer reading volunteering if you know you're going to be out of the country for a month.
Yes, that makes scheduling for them very difficult.
If it's an emergency, I can absolutely work around it. But if you know going in, either I need to be aware of that as soon as possible, or consider doing year-round volunteering instead of summer reading volunteering, something a little less time-sensitive.
Also, if they're going to be late or not come in at all, we kind of expect them to treat us like they would a future employer and let us know. Email us, give us a call, somehow communicate with us that you are not coming in or that you will be late or something happened. And also to secure a ride. If you are younger, I had a teen volunteer who felt sick and had to leave and had no way home, and I had to help get her to her parents, like by calling them and just trying to communicate with them. But it wasn't set up beforehand, like how she would call someone if she needed to. So just having that already set up before you come is going to make the transition very easy. You have an interaction with a patron and they're, not having a good day, or they're being particularly negative and they're asking you questions you don't know the answer to, like redirect them to us and we can help out. If you are in the stacks and you are feeling uncomfortable in any way, come and get us.
How much do you think volunteering at the library helps prepare teens for entering the working world?
I think pretty significantly. We're going to be more chill than a retail job or a restaurant job or anything like that, but we still have the importance of customer service skills, time management, communication, all of that stuff, but it's very low stakes. Like your livelihood is not depending on this.
And if the teens would tell me all the time when they messed up and they would be so crushed, and I'd be like, it's okay.
Yes.
Like, I can fix it. Like, the fact that you told me was the right thing to do. We want you to tell us if you make a mistake because it's easier for us to go back and fix it now. And then it's just a learning experience.
Also, the big one of learning that they can actually speak to adults.
Yes.
With a level of adult to them. Like, they don't need Mr., Miss, Mrs., whatever. Like, no, you can call me by my name. Like, that's okay. It's kind of that transition period of the volunteering of being like, no, when you go to a workplace, you're not going to be Mr., Miss, Mrs.ing, mixing anybody.
Yeah. I also want to emphasize to teens giving the person in front of you your full attention.
Yes.
However that looks. I never let them have their phones. That was just a rule I had when I was a volunteer supervisor, because it's like, you're going to get distracted. I know you are. So just put it away for now. If it's an emergency, we can have it in the drawer because you need to be available if your parents need to contact you. But emphasizing things like making eye contact. I know that's difficult for some of our neurodiverse teens. So even if they're having difficulty with that, even just turning your body in the direction of the person and kind of talking at a level that they feel like, okay, you're talking up at me, even if you're not looking at me. You're not talking to the paper in front of you. That was a lot of difficulty that my teens had, where they would be kind of reading a script. Like, no, like you're talking to this person. And especially, as we've said, they find it easier with kids. It's so much less difficult for them to interact with kids in that way. Adults, it's just a little harder for some teens.
How do teens apply to be a summer reading volunteer?
There's a general application that will be available online, and I want to say on flyers forthcoming in branches with a QR code beginning April 15th. And
I heard 22nd.
Sorry, April 22nd. Edit and
It's the
post.
22nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Timeline was so off. And they can sign up that way. And then there is a deadline that they have to sign up. And so it's very easy to sign up. Once the application process goes live, it'll get posted everywhere. We're going to be sending it to our contacts in the high schools and the middle schools, and we will make sure to get the word out.
We generally do have paper copies.
Yes.
That will be available during general registration at the libraries, because we know printing is not always a luxury that people have. So we do have paper copies that you can pick up at the front desks.
And then you mentioned the year-round opportunities.
Yes.
So those, like, anytime teens can just come to the information desk and inquire about them?
They can. Historically, they can come up year-round and ask about it. They're always more than welcome to ask about it. The heavy recruitment really is the end of summer reading leading into the school year. Depending on your branch, there may be slots open in, like, October, or there may not be. Haymarket Gainesville tends to fill up very quickly from summer reading volunteers primarily, because I give them first crack at, okay, we're gonna start taking year-round volunteers. Who wants to stick around?
We are also hosting an open house right after school starts, where we're going to advertise. Teens can come in and kind of learn about what Teen Advisory Group is and how they can volunteer during the year. And we also accept applications on a rolling basis. Our Teen Advisory Group meets every week, because I always have stuff going on that they can help with. So we do the recruitment process that way. And then if I need help with programs, I have a sign-up genius. So I give the Teen Advisory Group first dibs on who wants to sign up for programming shifts. And you have to come to a 10 tag to get access to that list. So that's how we get our help during the year. And we do get a lot of transition. We have some teens that graduate, and then we have some new teens who turn 12 or 13, which is the minimum age that you need to be. So it's a continuous rolling process of getting new volunteers every year. So there's always opportunities. Check the library website.
Do you have any parting thoughts or tips?
If there are any teens out there that are interested in Dungeons & Dragons, please contact the Manassas City Library, because we are going to be running a Dungeons & Dragons for teens over the summer, and I would love to get a teen intern who loves Dungeons & Dragons as much as I do to come and help with that. But in general, yes, volunteer at your library. It's an amazing and rewarding experience, and you will not regret it.
Also, we have snacks.
Yes, we do provide snacks and water.
And air conditioning.
And
Wi-Fi.
Well, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
More information, including a dedicated podcast episode on our 2024 summer reading program, will come out soon. Make sure to check our website at pwcva.gov/library. Also, April is Volunteer Appreciation Month. So on behalf of Prince William Public Library staff, we want to give a huge thank you to all of our volunteers who truly make a difference at our libraries. Teens and adults, we could not do this without you. I will close us out with a quote from the book referenced in the episode title, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. There's nothing like deep breaths after laughing that hard. Nothing in the world like a sore stomach for the right reasons. Thank you for listening, and join us in 2 weeks for the next episode of Important Library Stuff.